The question is often raised why companies, once they reached a certain size, always end up creating job classification or similar frameworks. The best way to answer this question is to look at how companies deal with customers. As long as the number of customers is limited, managers just use their intuition to define the most appropriate commercial approach for each customer. But when business develops, they all end up creating categories. Small accounts, large accounts. Why do they do this? Well, simply to get the best out of each customer. It's called customer segmentation. Well, companies face a similar situation with the roles operating in their organization. When a company is small, managers usually decide on an ad hoc basis the salary, the benefits, the titles, as well as all other people-related attributes. For instance, a laptop or a desktop, an office or an open space. But as the organization becomes more complex, these apparently simple decisions can become problematic if there is no framework helping line managers to make consistent decisions around all these people-related matters. In particular, when they are not able to explain objectively why some have and others have not. So, just like they do for their customers, companies end up needing to segment the different roles. They cluster roles into categories. When it's well done, it provides line managers with a reference framework that allows them to make more consistent decisions on most people-related matters, including what role should get what attribute. So, for this purpose, the company has implemented the role positioning framework. This framework offers the great advantage of being very simple. No complex software or PhD in human resource management required. All you need to know fits on one page. And here it is. In a nutshell, this framework segments all the roles in a company into 7 families of roles. Let me show you. The first family of role is called support. The second family of role is called administration. Third family of role, coordination. Then comes implementation management, operational development, policy development, and strategy development. Now, as we can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 families of roles. To select the family of role, you simply need to choose the most appropriate definition among a set of 11 criteria that you find on this page. Most people use hierarchy as the first criteria to segment roles in companies. But research has demonstrated that hierarchy is simply not good enough to segment roles appropriately. In a world of knowledge workers, where people are more and more specialized, work globally, remotely, more independently, hierarchy allows people to be connected to each other in an organization, but it will not tell you for sure which role has what level of impact on the company results, neither will it tell you which attributes it requires. For instance, which role should benefit from a variable and at what percentage, which role should benefit from an internet home connection, you name it. Therefore, you will observe that hierarchy is not among the 11 criteria of our role positioning framework. Let me show you. You remember our 7 families of roles: support, administration, coordination, implementation, operation and development, policy development, strategy development. The positioning criteria are the following. Generic competences. What generic competences is required in the role? Tasks. What tasks does the role execute? Meeting customer expectation. in that role? Autonomy. What is the level of autonomy in that role? Knowledge of organization and sector of activity. How much is required of all that? Interacting with others. How does this role interact with other people? And what kind of problems is this role exposed to? Time span of control. That means the time that is left between setting an objective and evaluating the results. Continuous improvement. What is expected of that role in terms of changing and improving the work environment? Coaching and people management, when it's applicable, of course. What kind of coaching, counseling is expected from that role? And finally, project management. What kind of projects the role is likely to be exposed to. So as you can see, 11 positioning criteria for 7 families of roles. In the future, once a role is positioned in one of the 7 families of roles, line managers and team members will be able to better assess what attributes that particular role should benefit from and for what reason. Before ending this module, I'd like to highlight a last characteristic of the role positioning framework. It doesn't talk about people. It only talks about roles. One of the great benefits of having this kind of framework in place is that it will help avoiding making the common mistake of the confusion between a role and a person in that role. To keep it simple, we can say that a role is made of a set of tasks and responsibilities. A person, on the other hand, is made of a set of competences. For instance, suppose that a role is positioned in the role family operational development. Well, that doesn't automatically imply that the person in that role has the right level of competences for an operational development role. Because it is critical to assess the level of competence of a person in a given role, the company has implemented a separate solution. It's called the Competence Positioning Framework. This framework has been designed to complement the Role Positioning Framework. We encourage you to watch the module presenting this Competence Positioning Framework. And if you want to practice the Role Positioning Framework, we recommend that you attend one of our 60 minutes live or webcast trainings that regularly take place on this subject. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.